Oh, I should have tested that. Check, check. Okay, hopefully you guys hear me on Zoom and it's streaming to some YouTube or whatever. So we'll go live here also. Wow, all kinds of complications. What's up, Instagram? We're live on YouTube also, and TikTok, etc., etc. I'm Yogi Chris, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and captain of IMC Nation. Here from IMC Pegasus, formerly IMC headquarters, formerly IMC Base 1. And I think it should be good to go, right? Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Okay, it's working. It's all working. All right, what's up, everybody? And guys that are on Instagram. So I'm just streaming about game, charisma, confidence, these words that are so essential for the game and in life so that you take the right actions and you can accumulate those actions because you're confident, you're living life confidently because you know what you're doing. And even if you don't know what you're doing, you act like you know what you're doing. And acting is not like internally you feel a certain way. People do that, they'll hack their feelings so that they act in the right way, but actions are on the outside. Communication, how do you sound? How do you speak? How do you live? What are your actions? That's what you're acting like. And so a player, a guy that gets women, keeps women, seduces women, is charming, charismatic, confident, that sort of stuff. He's acting the player. He's what women want because of how he acts, not because of how he feels. Guys can feel and not express it. A lot of guys feel and don't express it. Some guys don't feel and they pretend to express it. And actually, a lot of guys do that too. They're just lying. So they're feeling something, but they're saying they're feeling something else. That's not acting. Anybody could tell if you were watching at a theater or at a play or a movie, like, you know, you're gauging how the person is acting, not what they're saying. If they say, I feel sad, and it's like, dude, that doesn't sound like you feel sad. Or he's like, I'm really happy. Like, you'd have to really work your brain to figure out how is that happy? That doesn't sound or act happy. You're saying happy, so it's not the words. Acting and your words are different. So acting like a player, a ladies' man, a guy that ladies, the most beautiful women like, they're attracted to. How does one act like a player? It's not the same as saying you're a player. There's a lot of guys out there that, they'll say whatever dating advice. Guys, if you want to go live, stream with me. I want to talk with you about your game and studying AZD and anybody else you're studying in the game. I just want to talk about game. Game. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we have here in Vegas, not just with AZD, but also the whole mastermind effect, because it's a lot of guys studying AZD and studying being a player. All kinds of things that come with that. Alpha, emotional awareness, seductiveness, sexuality, other aspects of being a man, your job, your fitness, and all of that. And of course, the social dynamics when you're out and the actual how you get the girl. And when you have a group of guys, how do you coordinate with each other when you go out to get you know what I'm saying? There's a lot in this game. And we just kind of brush over it. Like if I say, get your business together, that's really easy to say. And then go and get your business together. I say, get your body together. It's easy to say, but now go get your body right. Like IMCKP. So acting like a ladies' man, what we have here is a laboratory where everybody's studying being the player and they're learning from AZD, the top player. And because everybody's here training, they're dedicated. Some guys have been at it a really long time. They're better than others. They can start to measure the distance to AZD because everybody's making progress at this game. They're able to measure it. If I put in this much effort, then I'll get this much, personal growth or betterment out of it. They're starting to measure how much it takes to change themselves. And as they do that and they, accumulate skills from Arash and they learn, they just start to be able to measure how far he is and whoa, dude, it's like way beyond Everest. It's like you're in the little foothills of like the Mississippi Valley and you're looking at Mount Everest. And it's like, bro, you just had like in the Mississippi Valley, you have these like little grades that it's like goes up and down a foot. Doesn't change at all. But whoa, what a hill. Like to an ant, that might be like a hill or something or whatever. So what was I saying? Oh, and so we have this a lot of models for it. Like we're modeling it to each other, how to be a player. And then because we can measure AZD better and better and better, we're looking at a model of a player, a model of a ladies' man. And whether he feels like a ladies' man or not on the inside, now it would be easy to say that he does because he's been at it for so long. How could anybody keep up the act if they really don't feel good? It would be like feel happy or let's say act happy even if you're not, even if you're feeling sad. You know, act energized even if you're feeling tired. You can only keep up the act for so long. You'll at some point need to rest or somehow actually have energy or so on. So, you can act confident. You may not know how, but there's ways to thinking at any time in your life. You live to be 30 years old. Let's say at some point in those 30 years, you felt confident, whether you won something or you got the date, which is like winning. It's basically winning, or you were just tremendously grateful for something, like you avoided a death, a fatal car accident. You totally missed it, and you feel so grateful. Like that's winning. That's you didn't have to act grateful, like you were grateful. You know what I mean? You were confident because wow, somebody's looking after me. That's a confidence. And so you can hack that. But you wouldn't be able to just keep it up with the force of your will indefinitely. Like forever, you're going to be confident. You're never going to waver. And if you lose confidence, like if you have somebody around you, if you have people shadowing you, like guys, when you take the lead of your relationships, which is rare, guys out there don't do that. Guys literally think they are. I have guys that try to convince me that they're really dominant and alpha in their relationship. But when they describe the problems they're having, and that's the confusion, like that's the norm. The norm, most, okay, there's a lot of like subgroups, but of all the guys that have girlfriends, most of them think they're dominant. If you just ask them, but then as they start to open up and describe the situations they're experiencing, if you know, then you know that they're not dominant. That's whoa, dude, wrong. Just how you replied, even just the whole situation you find yourself in. It's like I would never even be in that. How did you get yourself in a situation where she's drinking around these guys and she's doing coke or whatever? It's like you're not dominant, bro. She doesn't obey you. She's not under you. You're under her. You do what she says. And that's the situation. That's the position most guys are in. That's why AZD would say you're actually in a better position if you don't have a girl. Because guys that have girlfriends, they're in a reverse dynamic. So they have to try to overcome that. That's why the remedy is just break up with her. Just break up with her. But the problem is that guys that are under their women, they may be denying it left and right to you. But again, it's like the difference between what somebody is saying and how they're acting. So they might be saying they're dominant, but they're acting super submissive to the woman. So when they're acting, that means that that's actually how they think. It's interesting. The word act is the root of the word actually, whatever that means to you. So they're actually acting submissive, and that's actually how they're thinking and feeling and whatever. And so when it comes to the beta submissive man, to break up with the girl, you ever see like relationships where like the girl is, or it's, I don't see these relationships, but supposedly the story goes, the man beats on the woman just doesn't leave. He's mistreating her and she doesn't leave. I know that exists, but the last time I saw that, everywhere, though, the man's being abused psychologically by the woman. But whatever. I'm just saying, that situation where like the girl just can't leave the guy, even though he's abusing her, that's what guys are in. Guys are in abusive relationships. This is exactly what I was saying. And, oh, you sent a request. Valesquez, Carlos. We ever talked before. I'm probably going to add you. So stay on for a second. Right on. Salute. Guys are in that position. I'm just going to go ahead and add you because it takes like 20 seconds. Where they can't break up with the girl. They're submissive. They're underneath her. And it's so difficult for them to leave an abusive situation because she represents so much to them. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you been?
Great. Have we spoken before?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Would you remind me? When was that? Was that a phone call or what?
It was by text.
It was what?
By text.
By tech. Right on, right on. What's up, man? How's it going? How's the game? How's life?
Man, just living life out here. You know, I told you I was gonna enter the Marines, and then I changed my mind.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, where are you living? North Carolina or something?
Humble, Texas.
Humboldt, Texas.
Yeah, underneath Houston.
Yeah, yeah. Um, right on. So you're staying stateside. So I guess then it's just a matter of getting a job, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it, man. And so you stayed back. So now you're going to learn game, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Because now you can be a warrior of the social world. You can still be that fighter and fight evil. And you know, the greater part about it is that it's purely capitalistic. It's purely freedom because each man for himself. There's not a hierarchy out there that's going to tell you what to do. Otherwise, you're fired. Now, there is a social hierarchy and there's a whole social matrix that if you misbehave, let's say you treason or you do some kind of misconduct or whatever, then you can be kicked out of a venue or a group of people or a group of friends can kick you out of their group and not want to interact with you anymore. So you do get fired in that way. But the upward mobility is limitless. There's no cap on it. And you don't have to play to the rules of the bureaucracy because AZD, I live with AZD, and he goes slightly out ethics, not ethics, out etiquette all the time. So he's very frequently in field doing almost rude things. Borderline, like not quite rude, but like almost abnormal, or like, you know, for example, he'll take off his shoes at the strip club and he'll be barefoot and he'll just be sitting there for like 2 hours talking to bitches barefoot. He'll stand up, he'll even walk to the stage and throw money barefoot. Don't try to do it, you'll get kicked out. But it's something he leverages his status as he gets to know people and does slightly more. And it's not for the sake of doing it, it's to express aspects of his character. Like he's a barefooted fucking monk. That's what he is, even if he's dressed up. So things like that. So you can play, you can't do that in the military. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is a different kind of, it's absolute freedom, but you absolutely face the consequences of every action. So you do in the military also, but sometimes the military will protect you. If you do something wrong, they'll still protect you, whatever. Like socially, it won't, you know, it won't, because you'll carry it on your face and in your attitude. If you do something wrong, you'll feel bad and then you'll act bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're staying stateside, man. So what's up? What's the next step for you?
Well, just look for a job here and grow from there. Just
Yeah.
collect some money and start making some businesses. How would I collect?
How would you connect?
Uh, the way that the money I'll collect, I'll start making the businesses throughout there.
Yeah. Right on. Sounds like you have a plan. So you're gonna get a job, make money, and then start some businesses. What kind of businesses are you gonna start in Humboldt, Texas there?
Yard business,
Yeah.
pressure washing business,
Yeah.
roofing business.
Yeah, just be a hustler, man. That's what I would do. Easy money. It's just you literally put in more work, smarter work, and you get better returns. Then you hire some people to do it for you. You sit behind in the air conditioning all day making money. And, you know, all the while you learn game because you go door knocking to do pressure washing, whatever. You're going to meet a lot of women.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's just knowing game, AZD style of game. Do you have any questions on game or what game is?
Yeah, what is game?
Game is a man's strategy in life to provide for himself the women that he wants.
Okay.
So just think of the kind of woman that you would want ideally, and how are you going to get her?
So right now, recently I just started dating a stripper, which it didn't go as I thought it was gonna go. There's just a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
I'm not. So the way is, I don't want to be with her, but at the same time, she's like trying to pressure me that she's a good woman and this and that. And
Which already is trash. It's already trash. A woman that pressures you that she's a good woman is a bad woman because that's not what a good woman does. So that's already trash. So she just disqualified herself and be like, she's like, I'm a good woman. And be like, then show it. Don't try to convince me with your words. Your words are just words. Look, fire. Where's the fire? Oh, it was a word because it wasn't the real thing. Okay? So, yeah.
So what do you suggest I should do? Just dump her?
Uh, I mean, I rarely dump women unless they like do crimes against me. Because I accumulate women because I'm not, you know, lying to anybody about I'm with multiple women. And so right now I have 3 women that have dedicated themselves to me, knowing that I'm with other women and they know I'm with each other. They know about each other. We don't have a group sex or anything like that. It's just 3 individual relationships. And I go out and talk to other women. So any woman that came into my situation would also know that. I mean, it's not, but it's also learning game. Part of game and strategy is knowing how to present it, which a lot of times, it's not that difficult to get one girl at a time. It's 10 times more difficult to have a girl and get new women
Yeah.
because you'll destroy it because you'll lie to either the main girl or the new girls. And if you don't lie, then you're not going to get as much pussy as you think. You got to really seduce the second woman. A lot of women don't want to be the fucking homewrecker, even if you don't live with the woman. Women don't like being that. Occasionally, maybe if they're on drugs, especially or alcohol, then they don't give a fuck. But nobody gives a fuck about anything when they're on drugs and alcohol. So that's like doesn't even count. So it's actually to become a player. Like AZD has 7 girlfriends, and they're all fine, super fine, like fine. And he talks to other women, picks up new women all the time, and he's a player, and he's 47 years old, so it's not like he's a young, fit, like fucking bodybuilding type. Like he's practically an old man, heavily tatted and in great shape for his age. But it's his ability to communicate and how he uses his resources and so on. So uh, for example, I would say one of his girlfriends is ill, has like a autoimmune kind of thing, and so most of his money goes there. And like knowing that, the other girls knowing that, and everybody knowing that, like his generosity with his money is part of it. Now, I wouldn't say that his game, like he gets women by doing that, but it points to a kind of character quality in his generosity and his care and love for a girl that can't really give him anything back anymore. But the just unconditional is definitely a quality in his character. And what AZD's game is built on is not pick up lines or what to say or moves to do this move and then do that move and then do this move. His game is built on the idea of character development, male character develop your character as a man, and that character is a player. He's teaching that. That's what I started this talk on, is that there's a difference between acting and saying it. Like she says, I'm a good woman. Bitch, act like a good woman then. You don't say it. Like I could say, I'm a player. I'm a king. I'm a king. Guys say that. And it's like, bro, you're not acting like a king. You're saying it, but you're not. We know when a man's like, I'm confident. You're like, bro, you're not confident. It doesn't sound confident. You don't act confident. So there's acting like a player versus saying you're a player. And when it comes to acting like it, you can't fake it because we also would look, where's the women? And you can only act for so long. Where's the fucking women? And so AZD's actually a player and he acts like it. And so we get to model that and see what does that actually sound like, look like, move like, talk like as a character. So, and then it's a character design. So like you don't become like him. You just use how he teaches it to change your character into, you tweak it. It's like the Wright brothers learning how to fly. Like you got to keep tweaking it and do it again and tweak it and do it again. Eventually you take off, you get some lift. That's when you get good at game and you start to know anywhere I go, I can get a woman. And I can do it without violating people, without making, I might make some men jealous or whatever, but I'm not going to turn the whole environment against me because I went in and I started talking to the girl that everybody wanted to talk to. Like I will get the girl without ruining my rep time and time again. And that's why multiple women will even get with me because my rep is such that when I show up, the venue loves me. So then she'll be with me, even though I have another girl. Because when I show up to that other venue, they love me too. Because I've put in good game to all the staff, to all the men, to all the women. But without losing. Now, AZD's game, now that's already high level. Anybody agree that that's high level? That's high fucking level. I'm about to take it up to fucking Empire State Building level. All right. So AZD's game is built on tribalism and tribal game. So not only do I not violate him and him and her and her and him and her and the owner and the janitor and everybody in the venue, I actually, the most important people not to violate is my group, my guys, not my girls, my guys. So that my guys actually like how I acted. That's one thing that the military has as a pro in the game, even though they suck at everything game related. And now with all the LGBTQ and all that shit that's in the military, they can't even have this in the military. But they have a group that they care more about each other's opinions than the outside opinions. So they can actually act like men. Now they have all this other bullshit, so they actually act like robots, but they have that going for them. So AZD's game is built on tribe, and more important than the opinion of anyone in the venue, any woman, any girlfriend, anybody else is my tribe. And I won't lose the respect of the venue, and I'll get the girl. And that's how the game, that's how multiple relationships is done. Is I actually, now how do you do that? Is you got to be good at communicating, really aware and really good at communicating that people like you. You got to know what your gestures mean, what your colors mean, what your sound means, what you're acting like, what you're actually acting like. People are numb to how they're actually acting. They think they're confident, but they sound like I'm confident. They think they're a player, but they're really just a beta boy. They're a mama's boy or whatever, you know? So this is the AZD's game starts with the daily classes. That's just on Zoom every day, same time. You just show up or you watch the recordings. And then it goes to advanced trainings, but you just start at the beginner stuff because it's literally advanced. The beginner stuff is advanced. And it's just amazing how deep the subject goes. Because let's put it this way, 10 billion people on the planet, 5 billion of them are guys. Maybe some of them are too young. Really, none of them are too old. So there's billions, at least 4 billion. 4 billion guys that would all like to be players like Arash. They'd all like to have 7 super fine girlfriends effortlessly, on schedule, living their life like a bachelor. He doesn't live with them. He lives with us. He goes out with us 5 nights a week. 6th night, we stay in and watch a movie or something. 7th night, he stays with one of his girlfriends. She stays the night over. This is pretty easy. Like, it's easy. People will be like, 2 girlfriends is too much. Be like 7. And he talks to like 10 others. So that, what was I saying about that? The game, the strategy, what is game? That's the level of it. Character development, advanced. Oh, it goes so deep. 4 billion guys on Earth would want to have that. And he's the absolute best that I've found. 4 billion. It's hard to even measure 4 billion. Like, win a wrestling tournament out of 64 guys, and you're like, holy shit, 1 in 64. That was such a brutal tournament. Now win a tournament with like 400 guys. That's like unreal. Go to 4,000. What the fuck? Go to 4 million. Jesus Christ. 4 million, the best wrestler on Earth. 4 billion. Whoa, dude, that's 1,000 for every million. 4 billion guys, and he's the best? So yeah, there's advanced trainings. Then there's coming to Las Vegas and living with him for a week or 2, and then you really get trained. And then ultimately there's moving to Las Vegas and just paying dues every week and being around him for all the lectures, all the trainings, going out with him. And that's what about 20 or so guys right now are living here paying dues. There's another 10 guys that live here, but they can't afford dues because it's not cheap. But it all starts with the daily classes, $97 a month. Well, it starts with the social media. You found AZD on social media. So then the next is signing up for a class.
Where do you do that? Is it on the website?
I'm about to get censored, man. I saw you vape. And then TikTok always, I watch it, guys. In about 20, 30 seconds, I'm going to get adult audience on TikTok. Warning, because I vaped. Brother, you said, how do you sign up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a link. I think the link is in the bio, but also just DM me and I'll shoot you the link. And it's a PayPal or a credit card. It's a recurring payment once a month. And then it just, you go down kind of a couple of things. It'll direct you to a video of me, about 15 minutes on YouTube. That'll teach you about the class and like kind of some of the logistics and, you know, just some basics so you understand how to study it. Then if you want, there will be a link right there that'll say schedule a calendar call with me, Yogi Chris. And then you'll get a 15-minute call with me. This is all in your first month. So you sign up 97, you get the Zoom video, then you get this call with me. I'll talk with you for 15 minutes about what's going on with game. You know, so we could talk now, but also this is public. So it's like a private call. And then you get a login to the whole thing so that you just log into the website. There's all these recordings, and every day you get an email that has the link, a new Zoom link every day, so you can show up or you can just watch recordings. And it's tight, man. It's a mastermind. AZD's teaching it game. He's asking us questions and working our game. Like he's helping us work out like our strategy, right? Because it involves work. It involves physique. It involves family relations with mom and dad and everybody, and all sorts of awareness about communication so that you know how to dominate the world of a woman. You can't dominate a woman just by like dominating her, grabbing her wrist and dominating her. Like that's physical domination, but who gives a fuck? A bigger guy could do that to you in prison too. But dominate in the mind. And how do you do that is not by cutting her down all the time, because that just won't work. You can do that one girl at a time, but you'll never have multiple relationships because you actually have to have ethics. Because the other girl has to admire how you treat the other girl and vice versa. That's how they all stick around. And it doesn't always mean being nice. It's how you handle her bullshit. Like the bitch that's trying to push on you that she's a good woman. If in front of two other women that were just as beautiful or finer, you said, bitch, don't tell me about it, show me about it. They would admire that you checked her. And then they would become more attracted, and then she would actually change her behavior more easily because she sees that other women like that. That's how you play women off of each other, but in a way that everyone wins. Nobody's getting played at a disadvantage. So, yeah. There's that. So it sounds like you'll be joining quick, man. As soon as you have $97. It's worth it because so much of what he teaches is just confidence, communication, and focus. It's like the pillars of what he teaches, and ethics. And all of those things are exactly what I used when I started my business. I was teaching yoga. Then I started teaching yoga at multiple studios. Then I started calling studios in other states. And I ultimately called 2,000 yoga studios. In 3 years, I called 2,000 yoga studios around the United States. And I traveled for 3 years teaching workshops just based on what he taught in his daily class. He wasn't even teaching yoga business. He was just teaching confidence, communication, ambition. And I'm a man, so I hustle. I know how to just teach me some communication skills and I'll do something with it. So I know you would murder in Humboldt, Texas, if you had communication skills, because you're around a bunch of people that are very similar to you. So as you start to stand out above the rest, it's just, you're going to slaughter. It's just going to be hacking them down.
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you. Hopefully I join real quick.
Yeah, real quick, man. You could go to the bio right now. If you got 97, you just start today.
Sir.
You got 97 today?
No, sir.
Oh, fuck.
I'll work on it, though.
All right, man. Maybe borrow it or something. It's a business training program, you could call it. In 1 month, you'll have that money back. In 1 week. All you need to start doing yards is walk around, dude. You're in Humboldt, Texas. There's storms and everything. You just do yard cleanup. People got a messy yard. I'll fucking clean up your yard for $20. Do 2 or 3 of those. You can go buy a used lawnmower. Now you can really start making money. You just start door knocking. Y'all mow your lawn. And then you get better blades, better mowers. Shit. You sweat. Fucking A. You should have that money in like days. No problem. Easy.
Well, like I said, it was nice talking to you, man. And hopefully I keep on learning throughout these videos, and hopefully I get into that program as soon as possible.
Yeah, man. Beyond hopefully. It doesn't take hope. It takes smart work. You just go do it. The money's there to get. You just got to do it. Confidence. Remember, difference between confidence and saying it and confidence and acting like it. You do it. Because you're that warrior. All right, brother. Oh, see you next time. Anybody else on TikTok, Instagram, want to go live or Zoom? I have a few minutes if you guys want to talk.
Yeah, I got a question.
Phoenix, you're funny. Okay. Well, I think I drove my point home. I don't know if there's much else to say. Diamond Bavel. Diamond Bavel. Okay, well, TikTok doesn't appear to have censored me yet, even though I vaped. So, what's up? Hello? Would you like some tea? Play some tennis? Hello?
Yeah, I wanted to ask because yesterday you said I asked you about my ex question, and you said you had something
And
to
I
say
handed
about it.
and faced it. And I took my big hand and I smashed it in my face and I shook my head. What's your question?
Well, I said like, how do I get my ex back?
How does one get their ex back? Well, I'm not a good reference for this, Tom. Here's why. I don't know that I've ever gotten my ex back. Now, okay, I say that. The bitch yesterday broke up with me. And, I felt bad for her because her grandpa, she lives with him and takes care of him and has for her whole life. And he's about to die. Like, and she got in a conflict with my main girl. And I know that she's feels inferior and blah blah blah. So I made a bunch of excuses for her. So for why I was going to help her not break up with me, basically. so, but this comes from a top down perspective. I wasn't getting her from the bottom up, where I'm looking up to the girl. So, when the girl and what's important is that the girl has to perceive you up. Because and now you could try to manipulate that all day long, but that's a real big waste of your life as a man, and I'd like you to die, actually, if that's how you're going to live, because what a waste of life. So don't waste your life trying to make a girl look up to you. Talk about karma. Talk about being a slave, your soul being a slave, to spend time trying to make a girl look up to you. Any girl, any girl, any girl, even if it was like Megan Fox or whatever, any time spent as a man trying to make a girl look up to you, any particular girl, is man, that's a bad place to be in. But I guess a worse place would be to have totally given up the game. Yeah, probably that's worse, because you got to come up from that to even like be trying to do something. So, but for her to come back would be she'd have to be looking up to you. So, you're going to have to be 10, at least 10, maybe 100 times better than you were when she last knew you, her last mental image of you. And you're not 10 or 100 times better yet. You're maybe like 1.2 times better, 1.3 times better. You're getting there. Chosen is the next, or not chosen, Genesis is the next for you. So you get an understanding of emotions and how to overcome all emotions, including, and one of the most biggest ones in that is lust. And I believe Genesis is when AZD exercised Zothes, which, if you didn't know, Zothes is a word for hot sex. It spells hot sex, but he rearranged it, whatever, and it's a sigil. Now it's totally changed its meaning, but that was his magical name, right? So there was a lot of demons of sex and lust and whatever in that guy. And Genesis is where he does that. So that's quite a thing to see. 16%. Oh. So how do you get your ex back, bro? Like, so even like last night or whatever, when I talked to her, how do I get her back is just revealing to her that she's making a really dumb mistake and that she's worse off without me. Now, that bitch is not, your ex is not going to listen to you say that because she hates you. So she has to have that thought on her own, as if she was watching a theater and she started to think, oh, I'm not good enough, or he's better. He's actually too good. Oh, wow, he's different. If she was just watching your life, because good luck, and like I said, it's going to just eat your soul. Good luck trying to convince her that you're better. You're going to have to be so unattached, and it's going to take many different communications, lots of different situations, and it's going to be impossible for you not to try to impress her. The only way it'll work is if you're completely not trying to impress her. And what that means is you don't even reach out to her, because that alone is trying to impress her. That's trying to get her back. She has to indirectly see your success through a friend, through word of mouth, by seeing you out, by coming across you on social media, this and that. And you can believe in the magical quantum realm and so on. And when you start making changes in yourself and actually acting the part, she may just have a thought in her little black heart that I should reach out to Tom. It'll be magical how that happens, but you'll actually have to make the shift inside where you're too good for her. And every time you tell me that you are, it's again comes down to the principle of there's a difference between saying I'm confident, and acting, I'm confident. So you could say that you're over her, but you're not acting over her. From how I talk with you and how you look about it and how you sound about it and how you ask about it, you're not over her. And you're still lusting. And you're less lusting. I'm getting a lot less of the lust and more of just this other kind of attachment that if you learned techniques to get her back, I would just really be doing you a disservice, man. And I don't want to do that because that's just, you're just going to lose your soul. You're going to get her back for like 6 months or a year or something. And it's just, and the thing is, I don't even want to do it because it would take so much time. It would take away from other guys in IMC in helping you. That's how much effort it would take. And so it would take a lot of effort and it's just going to eat your life. But, another girl I got back that like, I just sent her loving, unattached texts every couple weeks. And she was nasty about it. And eventually she just changed over time. But I didn't pursue her at all. And I was completely over her. I knew I was over her. I was so over her. And I mean over her, like done with her. But the thing is I was never really, what's the opposite of being done with her? Being for her or whatever. I was never for her. She was one of my 5 girls at the time. And then she got triggered and left for like 3 months and did some dumb shit. And, I got her back just by being over her. I was literally like, I'm superior to her. I am greater than her. And she knows it. And she's not ashamed. Like, all 3 girls of mine could be here right now, and I would say, I'm over you, I'm over you, and I'm over you. And I mean superior to all of you in everything that matters. Because good job that you can suck and fuck, and you can cook and clean. And good job that you can decorate my room. And good job. None of that do I need. I can survive a lot better without you. You just hold me back because I care about you. And yeah. So that's the mentality about it. But the big thing is, also for you, I would also recommend the Panjo and the Awaken the Power of Animus camps. Because the Panjo camp starts off, it's 13 lectures, and the first 3 lectures is AZD teaching about relationships and how to live with a woman. And when he teaches about that, you'll start seeing how you exert way too much effort in relationships. And Caesar, I'll get to your question in a second. Yes, sir. Eat like Paul. This is so much of what I'm saying is just repeating AZD teachings. I live with AZD, so I recommend, if you're down with everything I'm saying, that I recommend get on AZD's classes because that'll just be next level, blow your mind, and you'll improve so well. So the Panjo camp it's 13 lectures. The first 3 lectures, he goes through these relationship principles, and you'll immediately see how you're exerting way too much effort that it won't ever work out at the highest level. You know how, like, if you have an inefficient tennis swing, like, you can get away with it like 10 times, maybe 20 times, but if you play a whole match with an inefficient tennis swing, you're going to hurt your elbow and your shoulder and everything. And if you try to play 10 years with an inefficient tennis swing, you're not going to be able to play 10 years. So you got to there's something that time in the game and practice and biofeedback, watching film and training with teachers and getting feedback and competing and everything, you streamline the action so that it's perfect. And the best people have the best swings and whatever. And so AZD's game is visible in his relationships. And so his principles of relationships is like that efficient swing where you're like, man, I don't want to learn how to do the swing right. I just want to fucking hit the ball. Don't you hate those students that don't want to learn how to do the technique? They just want to hit the ball. That's like the guy in game that just wants to fuck the girl. I just want to fuck the girl. And it's like, bro, there's motions to this that will make you a player in the game, but you're just trying to fuck the girl. So that's Panjo, the camp. Then it goes into 10 lectures of character study where he just goes through all these characters and you get all these references for how to embody the principles of the first 3 lectures. And they're short lectures. They're like an hour. And then the one that came after that is the one that's happening right now, is Awaken the Power of Animus. And so this is the fighter spirit. This is so interesting for me because ADD was a fighter and martial artist and black belt and whatever, embodied that mythologically also with all the legends of fighters and things like that. So, the game is built on survival and replication value. and that she has very low ability to survive, but she has a very high replication value. And she exchanges her replication value to survive, but she has very little survival value in itself, separate from her replication value. For example, if she was a hideous woman but had 2 arms and legs, how well could she survive? But take a hideous man and he could become a billionaire. Because she doesn't have survival value like that. She has to exchange her replication value to survive. And then same way with him, what's his replication value? How many girls just want that dick? Not because of his money. Take away his money, take away his let him keep his looks, but take away his money, take away his status, his fame, how many friends he has, where he lives, take away everything except his looks. And how many women just want that dick? That's his replication value. If he's gorgeous, some women do. But that's not good. That's not game. That's something else. I don't know. Go and do a pact with God to make your body better or something, or work out or something. But that's not game. So, what was I saying? Oh, so the Awaken the Power of Animus. So AZD was this survival value, how to fight, how to protect, which evolves into an awareness of, when you're a fighter or you need to protect like a bodyguard, you need to see things from a distance. So that protection and that survival value, how to survive in any situation, I can, but it won't be clickable, brother. So the link is in my bio, or just send me a direct message. I'll take a screenshot and make sure I get you a message, brother, about it. So that ability to survive any situation. Let's say the guy that's tough and fighter, but he's in prison. Are you going to survive? That's survival value. But it has to evolve into an awareness, because you're only going to beat so many people with your fists and knees. If 2 people, 10 people come at you, you need to be able to see the attack before it happens. And you need to see the problems that create the attack, the social violations, the rudeness, the agendas, and all this. And it evolved into a social awareness. Hanjo, his fighting style, became game. And it triggers attraction in women because women are attracted to survival value. So when you can dominate an environment and you know how to maneuver, how to protect, how to fight, how to combat, how to flow with, like a martial artist, that survival value became the benchmark, or it became the key ingredient, the X factor of his game. He's a fighter that learned game. And not only a fighter, he's a teacher of fighters. He's a martial arts instructor, black belt. That's different when you make fighters. He produces fighters because he understands how to teach survival and protection like that. Lethality, lethal strikes. A man who isn't held back by rules also isn't held back by rules of mating. In romance, there's all is fair game in war and love. In love and war, whatever, war and romance. There are no rules. But the person who's a mixed martial artist has rules. The person who trains self-defense for the street, every rule is allowed. Also in love and romance, everything is allowed. And that makes the man top-notch at what he does. So the current camp, Power of Animus, Awaken the Power of Animus, is that fighter spirit in game. It's how he uses his fighter spirit in game, which I believe will be very helpful for you, because you're at a distance and you need to learn some mindset of how to be a fighter and an attacker of your game, so that your agenda is not so passive. You're looking for her to give you what you like. You got to go out there just as a boss. And this is the mindset that he teaches in the advanced camp right now. So all those camps, Genesis, Hanjo, Awaken the Power of Animus. I might go with Awaken the Power of Animus because it's the cheapest right now, because it's still going, so it's cheaper. But, in a perfect world, you'd get all 3. And if you can get all 3, I could argue to Arash that you should get a package deal, but not for just one. I can't do a deal because it's got to make sense to AZD, and I don't think that'll make sense to AZD. Okay, anything else on that, Tom?
Yeah, no, because I was thinking about, I was looking at, have you heard of Neville Goddard?
Yes.
And he was talking about saturating your consciousness with the state of being that you want, and thinking what you're describing, not caring really being above them, well, that would be living in the end result, wouldn't it?
Uh, yeah, but it could also be a delusion.
Well, yeah, the delusion part is the thing I've been thinking about. Like, is it just delusion or is it actually like influencing anything?
Yeah, it does influence things, but here's the thing. I'm not convincing myself that my women are under me. They actually are. And it wasn't because I just held the feeling for a long time until I really believed it. I understood. I understand. I have understanding. So that's what these lectures and stuff are. They give you understanding. You got to hear it multiple times. A lot of times, like you sent me a question, how many times should I watch Chosen? I would move on to the next camp. And then when you feel like you need a refresher, go back and watch Chosen. But it's time for some new tech because that'll enhance your understanding of the other tech because they refer back and forth in the tech. Some of the things in Chosen, you'll see it's foreshadows for what happens in Genesis. And then Genesis will give you much more understanding of Chosen because you'll see where it's going. So you actually need to understand that you're over her and that she's under you and why. And it's not that easy to like bulleted out all of the reasons why and I memorized them. It's just over time you see it. It just becomes visible when it's explained 1,000 different ways in a bunch of different ways. And it becomes a real thing for you. So just trust and have faith in what I'm telling you that put in your time, put in your energy, put in your study, and it'll be real for you. And then it won't be faked. It won't be holding and feeling. Then you'll see how you are creating your realities by feelings that come up. But you'll need to overcome all your feelings before you start playing your feelings like a musician. And it hasn't happened yet. And I don't know that it can happen without Genesis. Because that's the art of the egoless man that's overcome all thoughts and emotions.
But how can you overcome thoughts and emotions? You'll always have thoughts and emotions.
Right, but it's the same way that you overcome a woman's problems. She'll always bring you problems, but you'll never have a problem with her problems.
So you never have a problem with your thoughts and emotions.
And not as long as I remember Genesis training.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Since
Okay.
then, that's where I became baptized as Michael. I had a
So
spiritual baptism.
is it like if you're like a monk and you're seeing your thoughts and emotions and not attaching to them? Is it something like that?
It is, but it goes back to the same thing you talked to me about the Buddhist temple and whatever. And I said that put those guys in front of beautiful women that are lusting over them, and let's see how good they keep their peace. Monks have overcome their emotions, but they're not in emotional situations. The biggest thing that's going to trigger your emotions is the woman, right, Tom? So if you're celibate and avoid all women, then where is the source of agitation that you can overcome?
Yes, it's not a very good solution to avoid everything.
No, it's like an alcoholic going to AA and always running away from anywhere there's alcohol. That's all it
Yeah.
is. That's what it
So
is
you
with women.
say the teachings of Arash are like how to handle modern life. I
Exactly.
guess you could put it like that.
I would put it exactly like that. How to handle modern life. Be a player and a monk and a warrior in a modern urban environment. And it's the mindset of that. And it's exemplified by his game because lots of people could claim all that fighting stuff and everything, but none of them get women. And your mentality and your mindset and your communication is shit. If you can't get women, I don't give a fuck. Because those men will betray their friends, they'll ruin their lives, they'll do all kinds of dumb shit over a woman, no matter how high level they are at anything. We've seen it 1,000 ways with 1,000 different guys. Guys will do dumb shit no matter how successful they are at anything because they haven't overcome women. So that is the weak link of the whole chain of masculinity. And that's what this is. So we don't want to get away from that, but it's everything. It's the whole, you need the whole kit and caboodle, as it's said. Like you need the whole package to be a player. But let's not forget that we are players. All right, brother. Okay, if there's anything else on social media, Tom, you think you're going to be able to get Genesis?
Well, it depends on how much it is, isn't it? Yes.
Genesis is 697. Like I said, if you can get all three, hell, if you can even get two, although I really think you should get Panjo. Fuck it. No, you got to get all three. If you get all three, I can give you all three for 447. total for all three, so times 3. But because the current camp is at 447, that's what Awaken the Power of Animus right now. It's not over yet, so it's still running. So it's at 447. So AZD always says raise the price on guys that were around, that saw about it, and just chose not to be a part of it. And but if you get all 3, and I know you left and you were all discouraged and you just came back, and I think you were gone when Genesis was happening, and since you were on Chosen and this and that, I can reason him in a few different ways that he'll probably be all right with it. And so I can get you all 3 for 447 each, or you could just get the current one for 447, or get Genesis if you want for 697.
I'll have to think about it because I only get paid like every 6 weeks. So this won't be for another like 4 weeks.
I see. So you have to do some math and see if you'll be able to live and still get the purchase.
But pretty much, yeah.
All right, man. Well, I recommend it, starting on it tonight. And I'm here to help coach you. As you do it, then I can talk with you on a different level about this stuff because we'll share in understandings.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, brother. So anything else, just raise your hand and I'll just wrap it up here because there's a comment on Instagram I wanted to get to. And but yeah, if there's any more, just raise your hand.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Caesar, it takes a lot. I've had similar situations where girls used to dismiss in club areas, even though it wasn't said out loud, and now these girls are approaching and messaging. Oh yeah. You raise your value, you reinvent yourself, especially when you first get in the game because you were acting totally ignorantly before then. So as soon as you start getting some strategy under your belt, you really stand out to all the people that knew you. Okay, can you post a link here? Yes, KP, what's up? What's up? Mr. Disrespectful, right on. Okay, everybody. So every time I go live, mark those notifications. Let's do some training. I'm in. Right on. I'm going to DM you right after this, brother. And everybody else, I appreciate your time. Let's see if there's any comments over here on YouTube. If she pulls back, should you start pulling back? Yes, but you already knew that, and he left anyway. Let's see. All right. Thanks, everybody. And eat like Paul. I'll talk with you right after this. Os.